Many thanks for staying with us. Now, lawyer Joyce Miguda Majiwa and High Court Judge Lydia Achode were this morning interviewed by the Judicial Service Commission as it continues to search for the new Deputy Chief Justice. Majiwa is formerly the chairperson of FIDA, and she is a founder member of the Institute for Education and Democracy and one-time vice-chairperson of the Law Society of Kenya. Achode was appointed to the High Court in 2011, having previously served as a registrar of the High Court and as a chief court administrator. He is part of this morning's proceedings.
I have an interest in justice. I've alluded to it. I have an interest in justice. I think my track record shows that. There is a way in which you can help justice, help the cause of justice, advance justice if you're a practicing lawyer. But there is a greater and broader aspect in which you can advance justice if you're actually a Deputy Chief Justice, moving on to Chief Justice. So that is my great interest. I want to advance justice in a position where I can actually touch the lives of many and leave an impact of justice, leave an institution that people remember as a just institution. If I was the lucky person to get this, I would have a ground-setting meeting with the Chief Justice, and if he gives me a carte blanche, as you say, a blank card, I will say, let me develop this institution together with teams that we will put in place. For me, and development, I mean holistic development of the judiciary, to be a modern judiciary, that to be technologically modern, that the persons who are presiding are professionally trained and they're continuing to professionally train and they're delivering judgments, that development in the way even the staff of the judiciary, everybody, the judges, the magistrates, to the highest to the lowest, feels that they are valued and that they are giving valued service. Even team for internal clients, the people who are working in the judiciary, the judges and the magistrates, they should have somebody looking after their welfare so that they can do well.
That was lawyer Lydia Majiwa earlier on in the morning facing the Judicial Service Commission, but currently High Court Judge Lydia Achode is still being interviewed by the Judicial Service Commission at the Supreme Court. Let's cross over there live and listen in.
That more often than not, seeing as the Chief Justice will have many other administrative duties to do, you will be the one in charge of guiding and directing the operations of that court. Now, almost every man and woman who has sat on that chair, when they have been told, tell us, are you happy with the way the Supreme Court is functioning? Almost to a man and woman, everybody says there's a problem of collegiality, there's a problem of team spirit, and there are deep rifts in the Supreme Court that need to be healed. What do you have as Lydia Achode, right, that can convince this commission that you have what it takes to create that harmonious Supreme Court that all of us so sorely desire, so that our apex court is a very good reflection of the institution of the judiciary?
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. I think I'm diplomatic by nature. I listen to people deeply, so to find out where somebody is coming from. If you remember, there was such a rift between the legal arm of this judiciary and the judicial staff at one time. And we were able to bridge it by telling the one side that we are in this together. So even in the Supreme Court, I would be talking to my colleagues, not talking to them, not talking at them, not cracking a whip or whatever, because these are equals. These are minds that equals. But telling my colleagues that, listen here, we are not part of the gladiators. We are actually supposed to be arbitrators. So the issues that people are bringing before our court need not, we did not descend into the arena, and it's never personal. It's about your decision and you go home. Just the same way the members of the bar can come to court and argue so hard about a case, and then they go out to have coffee together and their clients are annoyed because they are together. So it should be the same for us, that I can hold my view, my colleague can hold their view, and if we are not able to convince each other to the other's point of view, we can each write our separate views. But just to tell them that at the end of the day, it is not about us. It's about delivering a service. Maybe we would have a retreat, and I also feel that maybe this comes about because of not working together a lot, because if there are few cases in that court and you still hear this backlog, so I feel maybe they don't sit together, because it's only when you sit together that you gel, that those little frictions get to go away, and then you are able to you develop a working mechanism, because you each come in with your different temperaments, and you learn to the other person's temperament, because the way I will approach you is different from the way I'll approach another, because I have learned this person likes to be approached this way.
Thank you. And lastly, Judge, structurally we have the superior courts, then we have the subordinate courts, then we have the judicial staff. Experience has shown that there is this.
All right, and our reporter, Michelle Ngele, is at the Supreme Court and now joins us for a quick update on some of the questions that these two ladies had to contend with. A very good afternoon to you, Michelle. In the morning, we had lawyer Majiwa, and currently they have Lydia Achode. What, given the kind of questions that they were asked, how did they deal with them, both of them as individuals?
Well, I think they dealt with the questions quite well, considering that it is a majority of the lineup for the position of Deputy Chief Justice consists of women. And so in the morning, like you mentioned, we had lawyer Joyce Majiwa being questioned for this position. And remember, this is the second time that she was in this position. Back in 2012, she was among the 5 candidates that were shortlisted for the position of Deputy Chief Justice, among the likes of Kalpana Rawal and Rachel Omamo. And so this is the second time she finds herself in this position. Among the things that she said she would like to do if appointed Deputy Chief Justice is to increase the transparency within the judiciary, to ensure that the judicial communication and information strategy is better suited for Kenyans to understand what's going on in the judiciary on a day-to-day basis. And coming to the afternoon session, of course, we have Lady Justice Lydia Achode. This is among the youngest candidates for the position of Deputy Chief Justice, only having served in the High Court for 5 years, and now she wants to be the deputy of the highest court in the land. Among the things that she wants to see in the judiciary, should she be appointed Chief Justice, is the computerization of the judicial system. She says it's 2016, we're past the time where lawyers and magistrates come to court with suitcases full of files and later have to wait for days to receive the copy of the proceedings of the court cases or hearings that they sit. And so they want to see computerization. So we have judges walking into the courtroom with just a tablet, and all the information is there. And as soon as they leave the court, they leave with all the information of the day's proceedings. But she was also questioned on contemporary issues, say criminal matters mostly, that she was questioned on, more specifically the issue of whether the provision of bail is a violation of the rights of the victims. Because, many times we have purported perpetrators, alleged perpetrators of crime being let free, or let free on bail, which is a constitutional provision. But then many times we also hear of cases of witness interference, or the victims' lives in that case are in danger. And so she says in a case like that, it will be imperative to balance out the rights of both the alleged perpetrator and the rights of the victims. And should she be appointed Deputy Chief Justice, she will ensure that witness protection and the protection of victims of crimes as well is something that is being taken care of by the court system, and definitely an issue that many Kenyans would be interested in seeing there. But just as I wind up, corruption is another thing that Lady Justice Lydia Achode was questioned on. Remember, she is the deputy presiding judge of the recently established Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Division of the High Court, and so she does have quite a bit of experience of rooting out corruption in the judiciary. And she says that an imperative step would be to ensure that we have enough courts across the country, so that you don't have to know somebody in a court in Nairobi if you're from Moyale for you to get justice. So these are some of the things that these two ladies have been talking about. And of course, as these interviews come to a close today, tomorrow we will have Lady Justice Martha Koome and Pamela Mikali appearing before the JSC for the same. Okay, sir.
Michelle, thank you very much for that. That is our reporter Michelle Ngele joining us from the Supreme Court with details on how the interviews to fill the vacant position of Deputy Chief Justice are ongoing at the Supreme Court before the Judicial Service Commission.